Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about personal branding. And personal branding for myself, it has really created a lot of success. For me, the first basically organization I founded was a charity. And after founding that charity, I learned a lot. It was a very great experience, and I'm still doing the charity today. But one of the main things that I did while helping others was build a story, kind of create messaging around, what I've done was conveyed to various people that aided in my development throughout the process. Really great mentors, CEOs that I've connected with, that I've learned from, as well as other individuals. I've got to speak in various podcasts such as NPR, Bloomberg, as well as kind of meet very interesting people, even some celebrities. Spoken on talk shows, and all of that was a learning experience, but it really allowed for me to build a micro personal brand. So in today's video, we're gonna really delve deep into personal branding and its impact. So if you're relatively new to entrepreneurship, kind of like myself, and you want to basically grow your digital presence online, today's video will kind of convey what I've learned. While my years are relatively few compared to a lot of the other entrepreneurs out there, I've learned a lot in terms of kind of building a brand, having it be consistent every day, and kind of tell an important story about my growth and journey as an entrepreneur. So if you look at a lot of the kind of outward facing, very inspiring entrepreneurs today, whether that be Mark Cuban or Gary Vee, you name it, they all have personal brands, and their personal brands are unique to them, to their accomplishments, to their worldview, to their perspective. It's very basically motivating and inspiring to look up to individuals like them and kind of see what they've done, but also their story. So again, why I'm creating this YouTube video is it talks about personal branding, but it also helps create some of the story for my personal brand as well. So thank you for those of you that are watching. I hope that this video provides insight. In terms of what a lot of these outward CEOs have in common is they all have kind of the ones that are very recognized, a unique brand. So let's say Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta, he has his own brand. And his brand, again, it's centered around innovation and technology, but it really inspires a young, hungry generation of entrepreneurs that are interested in maybe developing or coding. And all these CEOs, they kind of take advantage of their personal brand. What I've learned is having a personal brand is something that you could leverage. I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of my mentors that were very invested in me, and I was able to showcase what I've done and kind of tell a story with the personal brand I curated over time. So another interesting thing that people are very invested in today with social media is actually people. People buy into people over, I'd argue, products or services. If you think of maybe your favorite artist, say Drake, for example, when people buy his clothing brand, October's Very Own, they're invested in the brand, not because, there's so many different sweatshirts and clothing brands out there. They're invested in the brand because he built it. So it's important to have a brand that, is ethical, but it also tells a story and it's able to garner attention in the public eye. So let's talk numbers. So in terms of like your personal brand, in terms of, some important things to keep in mind is you want it to be very credible. You want to establish trust and rapport with your kind of audience and the people that are engaging with the brand. People are, believe it or not, 82% more likely to trust a company when its CEO is active on social media. Personal brands can really help with attracting people that are built or bought into your vision, your mission. Eamon Gadzhi is a great example of this. The people that work for Eamon Gadzhi, they're built into his vision, and they really admire what he's built and he's created in his 24 years of life. And Eamon Gadzhi for me is a huge role model. For a lot of you, is a pretty big role model. For me, kind of what the personal brand I built, it really helped garner top talent for my companies, for the businesses that I've built. And these companies are scattered across different industries. I have a marketing agency, an e-commerce company, basically advertising software company, as well as a few others. And what we recently did is position CEOs in each of those companies so that me and my co-founder, Alec Velo, could really sit on the board and really oversee a lot of progress that's kind of happening within the companies. I reached out personally to all of these different CEOs, looked at their backgrounds and resumes, and a lot of them had personal brands of their own. But that leverage allowed me to find top talent and ultimately, right, buy back my time, which I'm super grateful for. Number 3 is business growth. 77% of consumers are more likely to buy from a business whose CEO is visible and vocal. An example of this is, let's say Elon Musk. While Elon Musk has accomplished a lot, he has the ability to be controversial at times, but he's built an empire, and people, right, are bought into, like, companies like Tesla. It has a cult-like following, and Elon Musk is very visible in terms of his moves. The reason that he bought X, right, a social platform, is to basically own a media company, own a media enterprise, and ultimately that funnels back into his existing businesses. Number 4 is investor confidence. 87% of investors say a strong CEO personal brand influences their decision to invest. Now, while I may not 100% agree with this metric, what I do believe is that, having a strong presence online, having, confidence in a brand that is authentic, it makes the investors more apt to basically learn more about your story, and it shows that you're able to have confidence and fully invest in an idea. So in terms of a game plan, some of you are here to start your journey on building a personal brand, and let's create a game plan. Let's create a strategy for you. The really first thing is figure out what you're good at, figure out what you're passionate about, what allows you to get out of bed every single morning. So find your superpower. I'd say number 1, like, what sets you apart. Number 2 is choose your battlefield. Entrepreneurship, many of those, they think of it as, something that's kind of very intense. It's a day-to-day battle against, all the other entrepreneurs out there. But in terms of the battlefield that I'm specifically talking about, it's the platform, right? Which platforms are you going to invest most of your time? In terms of the platforms I'm most active on are LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. So those are my battlefields. So I'd say select where you want to be present, where people can find you. Number 3 is share content consistently. You want to create content that people can regularly engage with. If you think about, right, commercials, what makes commercials and companies benefit from advertising? It's how often people can associate that company with the commercial or the story or the messaging. So usually you have to see content a few times for it to really resonate well. Number 4, engage with intent. You're going to want to basically showcase, consistency in terms of your messaging. You're going to want to be authentic, right? There are people like Eamon Godzi, Jake Paul. They all have different viewers, and they all tell a different story. You're going to want to find your own. Number 5 is leverage your existing network. When I got started in posting YouTube videos in order to help bolster my personal brand, one of the first things I did was I looked within my network to see, hey, could I find any video editors? Because I loved posting the content, but the video editing with my schedule was a little bit hectic. And I found a really great video editor, and he's very passionate about filmmaking, and he has edited very, very polished videos. One of my favorite books when you're talking about marketing and building a personal brand. All right, the first one is Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. This is a very good book. And it really talks about authenticity and building a very strong personal brand. And it gives you the tools and the tips too when you're going about building a personal brand. I took a lot of insight from it. And the second one is How to Start a Cult by Jody Ransford. It really talks about how you can garner your own audience and kind of build rapport against a large amount of viewers. If you think about top streamers like Kai Cenat, if you think about kind of political leaders like Donald Trump, they all have a very cult-like following when it comes to their brands and the people that kind of tune into kind of what they're messaging. So in terms of some tips, some of them are you're gonna want to avoid actually doing these things. Some tips for you are to not do these things. So being too corporate doesn't help when curating a personal brand. Nobody wants to connect with a logo. They want to see your human side. Number two is inconsistency. That's a big no-no. You're gonna want to basically show up and create consistent messaging that viewers can engage with. Number three is ignoring your audience. You're going to want to basically gain input. Are most interested in. Sometimes I send some surveys out to my greater network to see, hey, what YouTube video should I post this month? Importance, kind of what we addressed earlier on, was knowing your platform. So platforms like, LinkedIn, they obviously have a different feel than Instagram. Now, LinkedIn in and of itself, it's great for kind of building a professional profile. It boosts your credibility and it allows you to connect with potential employees, industry leaders, potential investors, and it's really strong for that. Unlike maybe like Instagram, which is a little bit more social, and maybe a bit more casual when it comes to personal branding. So some things that you can do are kind of make sure when you're posting on LinkedIn, right? Just to give an example, right? Focus on uploading a clean headshot that allows people to basically see you clearly. Post regularly on LinkedIn. I post articles quite often about some updates, and I'm posting interesting content. Another great thing is when it comes to personal branding is confidently kind of speaking. One of the things that I did a lot of when I first started was doing podcasts, engaging in kind of different videos for the companies I was running, mostly the charity at the time. We did a lot of videos, spoke at some black tie events, and all of these things, they really helped me, right? Convey a message, reach a larger audience, and gain confidence in public speaking. If you can't speak well, it is possible to have a small personal brand, but your personal brand won't scale easily. So it's important to develop that skill set. Now, another thing is, say you're in the cosmetic space. Think of Kylie Jenner, right? Your personal brand, right, will probably be different than someone who's in the oil industry. And it's important to basically have an appropriate brand message focus based on the different industry. So I run an e-commerce software company called Commerce Hive. So the brand message of focus on Commerce Hive is innovation, efficiency, and business growth through technology. The tone is professional, data-driven, and results-oriented. Key messaging, there's high emphasis on, right, decision-making based on data, automation benefits, and the competitive advantage in UVP, unique value proposition. So yeah, so that is an example of that, the brand message that that we have for Commerce Hive. Just to give an example for those of you that may benefit. So for those of you that are ready to basically do a lot of work and garner a personal brand in 2025, I am thrilled to have shared a little bit of what helped myself when kind of starting out. And I'd say, define your superpower, pick your platforms, and start sharing your story. And if this video helped you, smash that like button, subscribe for more game-changing insights on entrepreneurship, and share this with a friend, who may benefit from it. Let's build our story together, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.